Hello, Wendy Byford here. Glad that you could make it to Heart, Mind, and Mechanics of Starting Your Business. I'm here today with my special guest, Haley Gray. Haley is the founder of Fiercely Marketing, which is a boutique marketing group that I love. These guys do all kinds of things, too many to mention. I'll let Haley talk about it in a minute. And she is also the founder of the Women's Entrepreneur Network, which is a Facebook group that is now, I think, well over 73,000 members. And we all follow her every movement there. Because it's just a great group of women sharing their information about business building. Today, we're going to be talking about the power of positive marketing. And this is a topic that's really near and dear to my heart, because if you've been following what's been going on pretty much everywhere in emails, in Facebook, in LinkedIn, whatever it is, there's always these headlines that are screaming pain. Let's go poke the pain and, make people be fearful and make them anxious and make them feel like they can't live without our thing, or they're afraid to miss out, or whatever it is. So we're going to be talking about the opposite of that, the power that you can have with positive marketing, so we don't put additional negative energy out there into the world. So Haley, before we get started on that topic, tell us a little bit about Fiercely Marketing and what it is that you do.
So we do all of the digital marketing stuff. So whether it's marketing plans, it is websites, search engine optimization, ads, social media management, funnel builds, all the bits and pieces and parts of content writing and branding. And people are like, do you do this? And actually, yeah, because it all has to work together to actually do its best. I kind of cringe when I have somebody come to me and they've come in and they've got this already built funnel that they've never tested any components on. And they're like, okay, now I'm ready to do Facebook ads on. So I believe in taking a very careful, calculated grounds up approach.
Well, I love the work that you guys do. You're very thorough. Actually, Haley did my business plan for my coaching business, and really love the work that she did. So if you guys need her services, we'll have Haley tell you how to get in touch with her at the end of this interview. But right now, we're going to go on to our topic of the power of positive marketing. So since Haley does all of this stuff and sees these screaming, painful headlines all the time, Haley, what's your take on negative marketing, all that stuff that we're seeing now?
To me, it seems kind of pointless. Scaring people into doing things in business, unless it's making sure that they're filing their taxes on time, things that you really, really, really have to do. I think it's important, but there's definitely this scarcity mindset of, oh my gosh, if I don't sign up for this person's workshop now, I'm going to totally miss out. And it's never going to come around again. And I'm never going to learn those skills. And I'm never going to get this. I'm never going to. And honestly, I've been in the online world a really long time, well over 7 years, probably closer to 8. And I have to say, it's all hogwash. It all comes around. There will always be another opportunity. There will always be another program. There will always be a program you can afford. So that like fear of I'm going to miss it forever and I'm never going to be able to afford this if I don't plop my credit card down now is completely ridiculous. And it's painful when I see people who basically put themselves into bankruptcy because they have overspent on these so-called things that they needed in their business.
There was a fellow named Dolph DeRoos who was in real estate, and I met him years and years and years ago through the Rich Dad guys. And he had a saying that just stuck with me. He said, the deal of the century comes around, like every week. So if somebody says, this is never going to happen again, don't believe it because it happens all the time. There's no such thing as, this is the only time that you're ever going to see this.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, really speaks well to me. The thing about negative marketing, I guess, came around because, the people in psychology say there's only two things that will make you move. It's either going to be pain or pleasure. And pain moves faster, farther than pleasure does, which is unfortunate because everybody then took it to heart that If you want to move somebody to do something, then you have to put them in pain, and otherwise they're not going to take out their wallets, which I just think, as you do, is hogwash.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I really subscribe to a more abundant philosophy in my marketing, which is really kind of interesting because some of these coaches and businesses that have this pain and scarcity, approach to their marketing, honestly, are, shooting themselves in the foot. It's hard to take somebody seriously if everything is always pain and scarcity. It's like the going out of business all the time, furniture store.
Which becomes a little bit of a joke. It's interesting because Maya Angelou said something that I love dearly. She said, at the end of the day, people won't remember what you said or what you did. They'll remember how you made them feel. And so if the feeling that you get from someone is always one of pain, it's always one of anxiety, it's always one of, oh my God, every time, they do something, it's going to be the last time, it's going to be, do it now or lose out on all of these things, then it really leaves you with a feeling of anxiety every time you think about these guys.
Yeah, and it creates a certain kind of energy too, which I don't find to be particularly helpful, particularly with women, because we already have enough stress and anxiety, and piling it on for our businesses is just not a great way to be.
No. So, I mean, there's already so much negative energy, so much divisiveness out there in the world that adding more to it through your marketing really doesn't help anything. And so it really comes down to, how do you want to be remembered? How do you want people to feel about you? This is a feeling universe after all. So how do you want people to feel about you as you come across in your marketing, and then of course in your delivery? So positive from that standpoint, wins out every time. And it's really interesting because the highest vibration in the universe is going to be love. So when you get that feeling from the people that you're working with, that they really care about you, not that they care about the dollar that they're chasing, they care about you and your success and the things you want to do. Like the feeling I got with you when you were doing my plan. You really, cared that we got something of value, that we could use it, which was really important to me. And that wonderful feeling is what you want to give people. So your marketing needs to come across as caring. And yeah, so there's going to be people out there that won't get that vibe because they're not your clients. That doesn't mean you can't make a fantastic living on the people who do pick up on that vibe from you.
Absolutely. And I will add an addendum to that is that, when you market positively, it becomes much easier to grow your business with word of mouth referrals, because everything tends towards that positive experience. Right. And people want to refer their friends to a positive experience.
Right. And so it's really good, actually, you're saying that, because what you really want is for people to make a reasonable decision about whether or not they want to work with you. Because what happens when you see negative words, whether it's in a Facebook ad that you've been staring at for the last 30 seconds, or it's, something that's flashed up on a screen, what happens is you release stress hormones into your system, and this causes your brain to stop functioning optimally. Yeah. So you're not going to make good decisions. When you see that headline, if you're thinking about, oh my goodness, every time I see one of those headlines, I'm taking my wallet out. Well, it's not surprising, because those negative words are actually causing you to have a physical reaction in your body. Those stress hormones are having a reaction on your brain, and you're not thinking optimally about the offer that person is making. And so, if this is me, I'm starting to avoid ads from this person because I don't want this to happen. I want to make a reasonable decision about whether or not I buy from you based upon whether or not you can help me, and I want to work with you.
Yeah.
Do I get that feeling, that the energy that I'm feeling? Is it one of, gee, I think I'm really going to love working with this person. I'm going to love developing a relationship with this person and, buy more things in the future? Or is it one of, oh my goodness, I've got to drag out my card for $47, but the next time you see that person, you're running when they're trying to sell you something farther up their ladder.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's kind of interesting, it's that concept of attraction marketing too.
Mm-hmm.
How are you trying to attract people into your sphere and into your net? And is it with positive vibes? Is it with negative energy? What is the energy there? And I feel like the more I, learn about the whole attraction marketing, and your energy and what you're putting out there and how important that is, it's really interesting how that also starts to become exactly what you attract in clients.
Yes.
So what kind of clients do you want to work with?
Absolutely. There's a fantastic book called Attracting Perfect Customers. And it's by Stacy Hall and Jan Brognews. I may have just screwed up her name, but I think that's her name, which is wonderful because it's based on that premise.
Right.
Excuse me. That you can truly take the time to define who it is that you want to attract, and then attract the people that you truly want to work with.
Oh, absolutely. And when you start focusing on that positive marketing, that positive energy, that positive experience, all of that yields a much better outcome, at least for me energetically, because I feel good about working with those clients. Versus, okay, well, we were poking at all their pain points, which are, not enough clients, not enough revenue, not enough this, not enough that. And believe me, I've probably tried everything at least twice in my marketing. And I find that taking a much more positive approach really fits me better. I'm not going to lie, but it also yields happier clients, and it leads to just such better outcomes in terms of who I'm attracting and what I'm attracting, and how people connect with me. It's amazing.
That's an interesting point, Haley, because I remember a story from Russell Brunson, who basically built a business where he was making good money, but the clientele that he was attracting were not the people that he wanted to work with. And so he just lay in bed in the morning wishing that he had a job so somebody could fire him. He didn't want to work with these particular people. Now, there was nothing wrong with the people. They were wonderful people, but they were just wonderful people for somebody else. They weren't his ideal client. And so when you end up putting out into the universe that kind of energy and you're getting in those people, then you really need to sit back and think, okay, so where's that coming from? Right? And why are these people coming in? And so if you're putting out that negative energy and you're getting back clients that, maybe aren't the ideal for you, you've got to take a step back and take a look at what you're putting out there so that you can correct it. In my coaching, when I'm talking to people about, who is it that you really want to work with, that's probably the most important question for building your business. Because if you don't get that right, then you're going to hate what you build.
Absolutely.
And it just makes the whole thing a whole waste of time and energy and emotional input and all the rest of it, because now you've got a business that you feel compelled to continue because you've got clients that you need to serve, but they're not the clients that you truly want in your heart to work with. And so now what do?
That's a hard place to be.
It is. It's kind of like a trap, because if you've got an unlimited source of income, then great, you can take the business down and start again. But I don't know anybody who's got an unlimited source of income. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's almost like the worst kind of self-built trap.
It is. And I think that, so many people end up that way because they're not thinking in terms of not just the demographics and the psychographics, but they're not thinking in terms of what kind of energy do you want. If you look at somebody's list of characteristics of the person they want to attract, how often do you see things like, the person smiles, the person says thank you, the person, respects my point of view, the person, all of these things that really go into making it a loving relationship. Because if you don't love your clients, then you can't want the best for them, right?
Yeah, it's really hard.
It is. And so, all you want is for them to go away. So it's really important that you when you're building your list for who it is that you want to attract, that you put in all the things that make that relationship special.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And when you do, then it just becomes so much fun. One of the problems that I have with you is that I love talking to you so much that I can't get off the phone.
Same. Right? Because I have so much fun, because I love what I do so much that I spend endless hours trying to come up with the perfect solution, and trying to craft it just so and find that okay, so what is it that makes this client so unique? And that, to me, that it's a head rush. I'm sorry. It really is.
But, and you do it so well. It's obvious that you really care about the clients that you take on, which is probably why you are a successful boutique organization, because you take the time to get to know each of your clients so well.
Yeah. Thank you. And that's part of the point, right? Is attracting positive people, taking the time to get to know them, making sure that they are the people you want to work with. And if they aren't, no harm, no foul.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to let a client go if they are really not a good fit, and you feel like you're not going to be able to do your best for them. I've had a couple that have come in and they really want to work with me, but the way that they work is not a way that we're able to accommodate sometimes. So knowing who you're willing to work with, how you're willing to work with them, what conditions. Those are important things.
Right. So the challenge that I put out for all of you who are watching this is to start looking at the positive aspects of your marketing. Mm-hmm. If you've been taught, as so many people have, to go after the pain, just remember that the highest vibration in the universe is love. Mm-hmm. Once you figure out who it is that you want to attract, and you've got that down right to the smile, right to the punctuality, all of the other things that normally don't go into that picture, you've got that picture in front of you, then put it out there with love and see what happens, because you will get a much better, a much stronger relationship with those clients if what you're doing is positive, rather than if it's negative.
This reminds me of a Beatles song. All you need is love.
I should have thought of that. I could have ended with the song. There you go. So for those of you who know it, you can hum along. So please take the challenge seriously. See what you can do with positive marketing. Let's put some really good vibes out into the universe and see what happens. So Haley, before we go, if people want to get to know more about you and what you do, how can they get hold of you?
Sure. They can go to my website, fiercelymarketing.com, and they can find me, or they can find me hanging out in the Women's Entrepreneur Network on Facebook. We also have a website, women'sentrepreneur.network.org.
Perfect. And if you'd like to get hold of me and find out more about heart, mind, and mechanics of starting your business type of coaching, then please just email Wendy at wendybyford.com. I will be happy to set up a time to chat with you, and we can see what we can do together. Okay, thank you so much. I have really enjoyed speaking with you, Haley. So appreciate being here. And
such an honor.
For all of you, good luck with your marketing.